Hello, good evening and welcome to the build-up show from the LFC Daytrippers, where we're going to look forward to Liverpool versus Manchester City. I'm the host, Keith Plunkett, tonight, and I'm joined by regular here, Seany Lawson. Seany, how are you?
How's it going, Keith?
Good. We're going to do our best to big up Liverpool for this big game. And I'm delighted to be joined by Big Steve, MCFC, Man City's finest. Steve, thanks for joining us tonight, mate.
No problem, fellas. No problem at all.
So what we'll just do is we'll look forward to the match, the form of the two teams, how impressive, unimpressive, deceptive it may be in some instances, and we'll look forward to the match predictions and things like that. But Steve, as I said, great to have you on here. Can we get a bit of background to you with your Man City following? Tell me you followed them when they played at Main Road, please.
Yeah, well,
right.
I've had the season ticket at City since 1989, so at Main Road.
Brilliant.
I go home and away, Europe, as people will know. Yeah, I've been on that roller coaster. Relatively new to the YouTube blogs and things. But yeah, I've been there since. I've seen it. I'd rather do it my way. I say to a lot of people that I've been from Barnsley to the Burnabout, places like that. And it's good doing it our way. I mean, I'd hate to do it the other way, like certain teams where, you was up there, and then you drop. I mean, I don't think the big teams have ever dropped as far as we've dropped, but, I wouldn't swap them times. Let's just say they were character building. Let's just say it took a lot of steel. It took a lot of nerve. It took a lot of, I don't know, I think, yourself, when you're a fan, and you go through the mill with them. And we've been through some mills, with some managers and takeovers and people that didn't have money. And, we could be here all day. We could do a full week on City. But at the minute, mate, I'm not one of these that says, oh, I'd rather be in Division 2. It was better than. No, it won't. They were both different times. Look, when we sat in Division 2, pissed up, watching Stuart Pearce and things like that, you sit there and you think, oh, God, I think we could one day win an FA Cup, or one day we've got a League Cup in us. And then now, I mean, we're in dreamland, the football we've been playing last few years. We've got Pep Guardiola. We've got the players we've seen, the places we've been. Look, it's every Man City fan out there who's been through that mill deserves it, you know what I mean? And I say it a lot, and people think I'm harping on. But when Man City as a club needed the fans, when we were in Division 2 and we had no money, and we were really on our arse, and the neighbours were winning trebles, and they were mocking us and had little banners up, and they were taking the piss. At the end of the day, we came out week in, week out, 30,000. We drank the shit beer, we ate the shit pies, we watched the shit players, and now we've got our reward. So every Man City fan out there now is in dreamland, whether they say otherwise, they're telling lies.
Yeah, and there's a snobbery about Man City, I think, out there, that everybody sort of thinks other teams have a dig, saying, they're only fans since 2000, and it was 2008 when the takeover happened, where the money gets injected. But the reality is, City were always a big club, but maybe a sleeping giant. And how do you go from being a sleeping giant to being a challenger at the top? And you need that investment, you need that cash injection. And I think some people can maybe be a bit snobby towards that. And look, as Liverpool fans, we've been sort of big boys at the top table for 50 years, 60 years. And when you see upstarts coming, like I say upstarts, City are a big club to me. They're a traditional big club, along with Everton, Aston Villa, teams that maybe aren't at the top anymore. Well, City are, but that faded away. They're still big clubs. Does it annoy you when people sort of throw the, is there only where you are because of the investment? Or could you, as City fans, could you not really give a shit because you are where you are now? As you said, you've gone through the rough and you've come out.
It doesn't bother me one bit. I don't care what any comment says, what anything does. If there's only me sat in that stadium with my City shirt on, I don't even care. But the thing is, like you say, I've been there in the dark times, and the humour from the City fans and the support has been unreal. We've turned up at places in midweek, Bristol Rovers, Swindon Town, filled the away ends. We've been getting beat. We're all having a laugh, a sing-song. They're the proper days, The club, the Man City club, is a proper Manchester club. So all these people that keep comment, it's a proper Manchester club. It's a real Mancunian club. It's a real City club. Well, you look at United now, when you've not had success for a few years, yeah? You walk around Manchester, you struggle to see one of them. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. They can say what they want. Listen, we're unique in our own way. I wouldn't choose Man City over anything. But I love it now. I walk around Manchester, there's City shirts everywhere. The kids go to school, they all want to be City fans. They all want to watch Kevin De Bruyne. I was running around my school, yeah, thinking I was Niall Quinn. And I was the only one in there I thought was, you know what I mean? But that was just me. But I love City. But listen, there'll be certain City fans of a certain age that'll get the ump with it. But anyone worth his salt who's seen it all, just text it. Because I love it, mate. Because I think to myself, you know what? It stinks of jealousy to me. We was a team yo-yoing between divisions, right? The only reason them Arabs came in and bought us, they seen something there. They knew we had the fan base. And they've looked at it and gone, right, who's the most successful team in England at the minute? Man United. Who's their rivals? Man City. What have they won? Nothing. Right, let's get them. Because them Arabs, it's all about what they can do and how they can show it off. So if they'd have come in and bought Liverpool, and Liverpool had overtook and won the league, no one would blink an eyelid because Liverpool were winning things. So what they decided to do was build a massive infrastructure. And what they've done on and off the pitch as well is unbelievable. The donations to the hospitals, the schools, the housing, the training facilities, everything around the whole of East Manchester has been reformed by these guys. And then you look at certain teams whose owners are coming in and they're pillaging the club and they're saddling it with debt and they're taking the dividends. But apparently they're prestigious clubs. They've done it the right way. The history says otherwise, blah, blah, blah. It's all the shit. Listen, them owners of ours are the best owners in the world at the minute. They don't interfere with managers. They're not chopping and changing every week. From the bottom of the academy to the top, they're laying structures out. You can actually see what they're trying to do, and it's refreshing to watch. So as a Man City fan at the minute, you can't get anyone happier than me. And, you know, we're lucky. We won the jackpot, and there's no team in the history of football that has won anything without investing any money. And the people say, oh, we did it the right way because we won the league in 19. No, you didn't, because I had it with a Liverpool fan the other week. He admitted it. I remember Liverpool in the 80s. They were the cream of the crop. And they could blow everyone out of the water. So they could go to any team and say, right, we're having your star player. And you couldn't keep him because Liverpool were Liverpool. They were massive. And they'd just throw 2, 3, 4 million around and think they signed Dalglish and players like that. Nobody could do that at the time. So that was Liverpool in their cycle. United did it. Andy Cole, Rio Ferdinand, you know, players like that. They blew everyone out of the water. I mean, and Chelsea done it. And City done it to an extent. But, you know, that's the modern game of football. It's all about the cash.
It really is. It really is. And Seany, something Steve touched on there was the infrastructure that the owners have put in at Man City. And I think that's, you know, we can get caught up on the FFP side of things. And look, it's a bit shady, but what they've done outside of the actual team, you know, as Steve said, you buy a team, it's a big team. It's got I think they only had that new stadium as well, which was an attractive proposition. They didn't have to build anything there. They could build around it. But Steve was right, Sean, isn't he? You know, the youth setup has gone to one of the best in the world. The lady setup, which, you know, clubs like Liverpool don't put anything into. And Man United only put a ladies team in last season. I think Man City are at the forefront of all that. So they're trying to do it the right way, but they're just trying to do it maybe too quick, and it's catching up with them in the authorities. But as an ownership group, Seany, how do you think they are?
Well, look, you have to look at the whole network of the City group of the teams they set up all over the world, basically. And they've kind of franchised Man City out across the world. And I think it's good to see that in a way. Like that's sort of unprecedented in football. And I'll echo Steve's thoughts there, because I was at Liverpool City away the year they beat us 5-1. The Mane was sent off. And he's right. Like when you're walking around that area of the stadium, it's unbelievable. The surrounding areas of the Etihad. Like I got off the train at Manchester Piccadilly, jumped in a taxi on the way down. I thought I was in a different part of the country, to be honest with you. Yeah, look, you could go on all day about FFP and stuff like that. Like, but fucking, that's the way of the game. They'll bend the rules as much as they can. And look, if they're not going to be fucking stopped, then why not do it? Because I know for a fact if Liverpool were doing it, I wouldn't give a fuck either, because the whole idea of football being a socialist game is completely dead in the water. Forget about that. Football is completely different now. Look at what's happened during the pandemic. Look at what the game has become. We're seeing it for what it is. These fucking TV stations just want to get their games on the telly to get the money in the door. They don't give a fuck about the fans. If they cared about the fans, there wouldn't be games. Football would be held off altogether. So let's not get tangled up with the idea that football is still a sort of socialist game, because it's not. It's far from it. And City are doing what they have to do. And look, spending all that money doesn't even guarantee success either. So they went out and got the best in class. They had the Mancini there, the Pellegrini there, and the end game was Pep Guardiola. And they're starting to really see fruit now, because although they haven't managed to win the big one, the Champions League, because I know a lot of the City fans would love that glory in Europe, they've put together some of the greatest Premier League sides that there's ever been. And that's just as simple as that. If you're a football fan, you're watching Man City as a team, without any of the outside noise. They're a fantastic team to watch. They're brilliant to watch. It just so happens that the fuckers are up against us now, and our latest golden area, we're going to have to go up against them. You've seen the last couple of, maybe not last year, but the year before that, 97 points is not going to win you a league up against this. Two teams pushing each other to the very end. And look, it's only good for the sport. It's great to see. It's great to see.
It really is, and it's something that Seany touched on there, Steve. You know, the last few years, there's people in our chat, there's Liverpool fans I see on Twitter all the time, and they don't feel Liverpool Man City is a proper rivalry. And I don't know where they can get that from, because the last few years, as Seany said there, Man City raised the bar. We all knew when Pep Guardiola came in there that was going to be as Seany said, that was the end game, and that was going to be the raising of the bar. And it looked like, you know, who can catch them? And it forced Liverpool, well, didn't force, but Liverpool were the ones who took the baton and says, right, we're going to go with this, we're going to go for it. And to see that title run where you're talking about a 98 and a 97-point season, like outrageous, outrageous, which forced us then the next season. And sorry, Man City got 100 points the year before that, right? 100 points, moonwalk to the title. 97, 98, absolute slugfest. And then the next season, it forced Liverpool to say, right, draws are no good anymore in this league. That was how competitive it was. You have to win your games. You have to aim for 100 points to shake off Man City. You know, as it happened last season, City sort of fell away, injury to Laporte. They hit the wall, because you can only do so much. These runs take a lot mentally and, you know, psychologically, physically, takes a lot out of you. And Liverpool are seeing that now, right? Different circumstances. We're getting absolutely hit with every injury going, but it doesn't change the mental fatigue. You know, when you get over that line, it's a hard line to get over. But do you feel now that it is a big rivalry when the fixtures come out for you? Are you looking for Liverpool as much as you still look for Man United, or is it even surpassed the Manchester United game?
I think it's different, because I think we've all got our rivals where we're growing up. I mean, I lived in Manchester. When I'm growing up, the Man United fans made my life hell, yeah. So I'm mentally scarred by them. So I can't get over them, you see. So I hate them with a passion. Everyone knows it. I ain't afraid to say it, and I don't care what anyone says. I can't stand them. But the rivalry with Liverpool is because you realistically know the last few years that Liverpool are the only ones that can challenge you for the title. So as soon as the fixtures come out, you're looking at Liverpool. And I think that's the same with Liverpool fans. I think that the rivalry with Man United is historically, they hate Man United. They can't wait for a Manchester game because they hate them. But they're not. You're only looking forward to that one game. When you're actually looking at a full season, you look at them fixtures and you think, fucking hell, who's City got first? Or can we build a bit of a gap here? And what you said was right with the Liverpool and the City team. Them two teams were absolutely outstanding, right? I looked at Liverpool and thought, fucking hell, they're frightening. Some Liverpool fans said to me, you know, Pep's team, they're frightening. But both teams bounced off each other because they knew that if any one of them slipped, the other team was in. And I think we had to win something like 17 or 18 games, and we did it. But I tell you what, it must have been so mentally draining for the players, but it was mentally draining for me because I went to every game. I was going to games like Leicester at home thinking, fucking hell, concede, he's beating us 1-0 here, and then Liverpool, and I could imagine the Liverpool fans being the same. So you've got to take hats off to both, because I think without that team up your ass, your players don't perform. Because if you slip up, one of the teams was coming in. And what you said before, touching on what's happening this season a little bit, is exactly what happened to us last year. We lost Laporte, and we tried to plug the gap with Fernandinho. So what we did is we actually weakened the midfield and the defence, because you took your best midfielder out of midfield to plug your defence, but then the players coming into midfield wasn't Fernandinho. So we absolutely messed it up. And I think what you guys have done now, Virgil's massive, so he's gone. So he's tried to plug it with Henderson and that. And then you're taking your best midfielders out and Fabinho out your midfield to plug your defence. So that's what's happening. It's almost like an identical situation that the two teams have been in. And it's absolutely crazy. But we were fortunate because beginning of the season, we lost them games against Leicester and Tottenham, and we were 12 points behind you. And everyone's going, City's found out and all that stuff. But that Diaz kid came in, took to the Premier League like a duck to water. The back four all of a sudden showed up. Johnny Stones has got rid of Laporte, which everyone's like, what's going on here? And listen, you've got to have hats off to the players, for one, for adapting to the system. B, for Pep, for not being as stubborn and changing it. And C, we come right on the outside of the rails, let Man United do the talking, and just popped ahead. And at the minute now, looking at us, we're looking really good.
Yeah, formidable, I'd say, at the moment. Seany, while we're on, we'll stick on City for a minute. You said this, you flagged this. I don't want you to be the, Mystic Meg and all that sort of thing, predicting Man City cakewalk to this. But you said it back in, I think, October, that City were miles behind, but they were the ones that you felt were going to run away with it, because I think their position was false at the time, wasn't it? And there was games to be played, and
you look at the table now, there's still a lot of false positions there, I think. When you look, goal difference is a big tell of where teams should be. And I know they got 9 the other night, but before that, those 50-50 games are just going their way. But back in October, I think City had a game in hand and might have been 11 points off. And everyone was talking about Spurs, the challengers this year, United, who's going to run Liverpool. And I maintained that it was Man City. And the very reason why I thought that was because this season, I always felt the fourth team to put a run of 6, 7, 8 wins together was going to run out. And whether it would be Liverpool or City, that's who would win the league. And I only ever felt that Liverpool and City were either the teams that could do that. Because we've seen City doing this 2 or 3 years in a row. Bar last year, stitching 12, 13 wins together out of nowhere. And then that's it. They're out in front. And lo and behold, that's what's starting to happen. I don't think they conceded a goal. I don't know. You might be able to tell me, Steve. I don't think they conceded a goal in the league since Stamford Bridge. So it's not like this City that now they are putting up big scores. There's been a kind of sort of an evolution in this City team, I think, that you wouldn't normally associate with Pep Guardiola. We always the fancy football, the expansive football, but this is the most conservative Man City that I've seen under Guardiola. You have Diaz, who's come in and has been absolutely excellent. A complete overhaul of City's defensive setup there. And John Stones has come into a bit of form. And two players who I think have been massively overlooked for any individual award so far this season, because your man Bruno Fernandes seems to be getting fucking player of the month every month. But if you ask me, like Ilkay Gundogan and Cancelo have been unbelievable, really pulling up that socks and pulling the team through. Because look, we've had our injuries, and City lost Laporte and Laporte only last year, but we've lost all of our starting centre backs, and then we've had intermittent lads dropping out of the team throughout. But if I'm being honest, City haven't been without our injuries either, because Jesus was missing for large parts this season, and Aguero, so they've played a large part of this season without strikers. So without an out striker, and they still got results. So this isn't really a surprise to me. We all knew that this City team could put together wins like this, but when you see them keeping clean sheets, that's the worry for me, because the old saying is defence wins titles, and at the moment they just look solid as a rock at the back.
Yeah, I think there was a big thing said back then, Sean. You'll remember this as clear as me. You know, City hadn't won 3 games in a row in a year or something like that, and that was the big stat. Oh, but they haven't won three in a row. They haven't won 3 in a row. But you're right, they were the team. And look, Manchester United went on a big, long, unbeaten run, but that was very, very. I don't want to say lucky, because we'll probably have a few of them in the chat there because we lost last night, but they were coming out on getting a decision in a game that was really swinging it. You know, they'd get a VAR decision, or they'd get a stroke of luck somewhere, and it put them on it. But it was a run that I felt, and I'll speak for myself, it was a run that I felt was false and wasn't really sustainable to Manchester. You know, it reminded me of Liverpool in 13-14 under Brendan Rodgers, that you're going, but only would go so far. Man City are a different beast, and we're seeing that now. So, Steve, the form that City are in at the moment, how many wins have you got now? On is it
13 on the trot?
14 on the trot. I mean, it's formidable. And Seany touched on the defensive side of the game there. How big an influence has Diaz been in that defense, or is that been overlooking some of the other guys in there? Is it just been a good unit that he stumbled upon? Or has Diaz been sort of a catalyst of solidity that City maybe haven't had in recent years?
Well, ever since we lost Company was a leader for us on and off the pitch. I think he had respect right the way through the club. And I think when you lose a player like that, even in the corridors, walking around the training ground, letting on to the young kids, talking to the kit men, I think you're losing something there. I think it's not a good place. But what I'm being told with the lads at work at City, that this Diaz came in, no fear, not your typical Portuguese player, you know, come in, barking orders, getting upset, calming him down, just generally living right, eating right. He's just generally took to the English game, and he's been a breath of fresh air. I mean, some of the games we played United, and he threw himself in front of 3 or 4 certain goals, just literally threw his body in it. And that's what you want to see as a football fan in a derby. You want to see someone throwing themselves in front of balls. You know, I've seen people like Sammy and Nasri turn the backing walls, and Robin Van Persie score free kicks, and things like that just really get to me, because I think, you know, come on, you're not on the firing line here. You're not in a war. Get your head in front of it. And this is what this Diaz brings to the team. He brings a bit of leadership that we were lacking, organisation. He's not frightened to get stuck in, but he's a little bit composed on the ball. I mean, we had Otamendi, who had a bit of a heart and wore it on his sleeve, but his final, you know, he coming out from the back, rash challenges, different animal. This Diaz, I mean, he's got to be up there for player of the season. If City go on and win the league, this kid, for his first season, he's got to be up there. And you've got to give credit to John Stones. He's come in. He sorted his personal problems out. He's managed to dislodge, who was a fantastic centre-half in Laporte. And you can't knock Stones. He's finally showing the potential that people knew was in there, but we've not seen it. So, you know, it could be an outstanding season for Stones. And that back four at the minute, you know, is looking really, really good. And the thing is, Sean touched on it before, this is probably the most different Guardiola's ever been. Usually we play one way, we come to Anfield how many times, we start off fast trying to kill you, we're 3-0 down in 30 minutes all the time. But this, I think we're going to come on Sunday and we're going to say, right, hold on a minute, we don't have to force the game. We've got them points ahead and we've got a game in hand. Let's see Liverpool come on to us. And I think we'll be looking to set a few traps. I think we'll be looking for you to come on us, and hopefully we try and catch you on the break, which you do to us all the time. So Pep's sort of learned from a few mistakes. It's good to see. We don't have to beat every team 7-0. We don't have to beat every team 4-0. We can win 1-0. We can beat West Brom away 5-0. Then we can go at home and beat Sheffield United 1-0. And that's a good result. We don't have to entertain the masses. We just need to get the job done.
It's 3 points either way, isn't it? So I mean, it doesn't really matter what way it comes. Dan Bailey says Diaz is a defender, and that's a very good point. Charlie Everett, a Man City fan, says João Cancelo plays all over the pitch. Sometimes I see him as a number 8, then a right back, and then a centre mid. He has been a sensation for Manchester City this season. He's a player that was always a good player, but I'm surprised by how well he's sort of come on this season. I thought he was just going to be a Danilo sort of, not Danilo light, but a Danilo replacement, as in he can plug in either side and he'll do a 7 out of 10 for you. But he's much better than that. This fella
he struggled last season. Yeah. Everyone could see it. We didn't know who we bought. We thought, you know, and then there was talk in the summer of him leaving, and nobody blinked an eyelid before. Oh, he's not worked out, let him go. But the thing is with Pep Guardiola and the system that he plays, if you watch some of the documentaries on Pep, some of the players, even the big name players like Thierry Henry's and that, couldn't get their head round the system that he tried to play. Eric Abidal at Barcelona went to the chairman and wanted a transfer because Pep Guardiola was trying to tell him to come into midfield, and he just couldn't get it. But then when they actually twig it, you just see the team, like, you just see the players just sort of like, it's like a light bulb moment. It's like boom, and then next minute it all looks like a gelled unit. But when certain players don't get it, it's disjointed. The thing is, with that Pep team, you have to get that system, and if one or two are not pulling the weight in the system or going where they should be, it all falls apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really do, Seany. I mean, I know you've been a big fan of Pep and his work over the years with his other clubs, and something Steve said there is very, very true. You know, Pep wants players that are that bit more switched on upstairs, that have that tactical flexibility. And Bayern Munich, Philippe Lahm could play anywhere for him. We see Alaba transferred at Barcelona. He always wanted that. But another player that's really stepped up on there, and you touched on him, Seany, has been İlkay Gundogan. He's playing further forward now, isn't it? He's not sort of sitting as deep now, and he's just got the freedom, doesn't he, Seany, at City now, that he's dictating games, and he's really, really a danger man for them now. He was always a great player.
But yeah, 100%. Like, Gundogan at Borussia Dortmund was unbelievable. Like, we seen the games against him in the Europa League, and then even the run that Dortmund team had in the Champions League, he stand out midfielder, and he just kind of ended up being one of those players at City who just, they went in there and they were just another body. I'm sure Steve would probably agree. He didn't pull up any trees, but he was always probably a 7 out of 10, like, you know, a 6, 7 out of 10. But this season, he's really grabbed the bull by the horns. Like, I think when City have lacked leaders, you see him picking up the ball and just driving at defences. He's getting around everywhere. He's so mobile. He has so many facets to his game. And like Cancelo, just another player in that City team who's at the standing up to stepping up to the mark when they haven't had strikers. Because Pep's played him forwardest man forward and all at times up with the two wide lads. So he's a Swiss Army knife. He's the perfect type of Guardiola footballer who he knows he can depend on. And he's he got a year left on his. He had a year left on his deal, didn't he? I think he was one of those players who was probably playing for his future at one stage, and now he's flying like he's one of the standout performers in that Man City team. And there's been so many of them, and they're probably not getting the just deserved City because they haven't been the same. But a pragmatic is probably too strong of a word, because pragmatic would suggest that they've been negative in a way. But it's just it's a more rigid City setup. They look like a proper unit now. And even when they were flying, you thought, you could get at them. But they look like a real unit now. You look at the goals conceded. It's very impressive. And it's something that you wouldn't associate with a Guardiola side, because attack is normally the best form of defence with Man City. But they've just been excellent all over. And they've missed Aguero. And they're missing De Bruyne again. But still, they're flying. And look, you fucking hate to see it, bastards.
Yeah, you really do. You really do. But Sean, I'm going to stick with you now. Liverpool, on the other hand, are not flying. Were taking 2 steps forward and then 2 steps back. And whether that's down to, we had 2 very good performances we had 2 excellent performances against Spurs and West Ham. But we're then losing more players and we're losing more momentum. Is this the type of game that we need now? Or is this just a totally wrong time for us to be playing a City team in this form? And what I'm trying to get at is, City are not, we've said it there, they're not an all-conquering, steamrolling every team. They're more pragmatic. As Steve said, it might be a different Man City that'll allow Liverpool to have the ball. Do you see us up in our game for this one? With it being a big, big rival, as we've seen in the past, even this season, games we've picked up when we probably have been in poor form. Is this another one of those for you, Seany?
Look, you say form goes out the window with these type of games, and it's the shite old saying that always comes around. But we've showed up in these games this year. We've beaten teams, came and Leicester be a tough game, we battered them, and then Spurs came and we ended up beating them. City's record at Anfield isn't great, and one thing I can remember was 2 years ago, Guardiola came to Anfield and shut up shop, and they were literally only a Mahrez missed penalty away from nicking the 1-0. Yeah. Now, I can see them going for a similar sort of setup again on Sunday, but they've been doing a lot more of that this year. City have grinded out some amount of 1-0s this year. So I don't expect them to go gun-ho and go for the throat, because they see what happens every year. We end up blitzing them there at Anfield. Like our record against City at Anfield is unbelievable in the league. I can't remember the last time that they beat us there. So,
and it was Nicholas Anelka last time we beat you.
Yeah, so there you go. It goes to show, like, it depends on who we have available, Keith, because if Alisson is back and Fabinho is back and Mane is back, then I back us to put a performance in against anyone at home. Now, that sounds a bit fucking stupid coming from 2 back-to-back losses off Burnley and Brighton. Yeah. But these games are different. I'm looking forward to it. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I am, because it's a spectacle, you know what I mean? The game, I hope it doesn't let down. It's not a drab 0-0. But look, Steve hit the nail on the head. 7 points clear of us with a game in hand. City, you probably take your hand off for the draw there now. And yeah, just, you know what, get that fixture out. Get that fixture out of the way, and we truck on. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how Pep sets up, because I understand. I absolutely know, based on personnel, if we've boys fit, you know how Liverpool are going to set up. We're going to go for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. We haven't really been able to break down teams this year that are setting up a deep blocks, but I don't see City doing that. It's strange. Like, I don't remember a Man City Liverpool game, the build up being to this kind of way, because you think back to the game at the Etihad, the season was done with last year. This year, both teams are in a bit of a ropey moment, and it was one of them games like where I think it was 80th minute in the Etihad, and you could just see fucking both sides shook hands and say, all right, lads, not to beat today, 1-1, and we'll take our ball and go home, sort of thing. So I'm quietly confident, I'm not going to lie, about this game, just because of our record in the past, and just I know we show up in these games. I know we're not going to be fucking on our arse like we were last night.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know. It's hold on, just 1 second. Yeah, that's the thing with Liverpool. We can print a performance against Spurs and one against West Ham. I'm not trying to big up West Ham, but it was being classed as a banana skin. You know, it's West Ham, Liverpool are there for the taking, no centre backs. Through the adversity, we did pick her up. And this game, Seany touched on there, Steve. You know, the personnel really is crucial for us. But whoever we can get back into that lineup, how do you see it? Do you see this being a dangerous game for City? Or are you confident that City can go to Anfield and get... Now, I know we've said that they don't have a great record there, but if ever there was a time to change that, do you feel this is the time that City can change that record?
Well, the last few years we've been there, I've been super confident. The way we played, I thought, we're going to go there, we're going to take over the gaff, we'll be singing Blue Moon, happy days. We're 3-0 down in like 10 minutes. I'm like, what's going on here? It's just a mad place. It just doesn't. I don't get that vibe when I go there, where I'm thinking, I just don't get that vibe. I go to Old Trafford, I don't care. I think, you know what, we'll wipe the floor with these as shit. I go to Liverpool and I think, fucking hell, it's just got this vibe about it where we just don't seem to do well. But with what I'm seeing now with the defence and our defence being a bit more solid, and like Sean said before, when Mahrez missed the penalty, that game was probably the best we played there for years. Now, if you're asking me, would I take a draw? 100% I'd take a draw. So my message to Pep would be, if I'm Pep, I'd go in there and say, look, we don't lose this game. We don't lose this game. Liverpool are going to be a little bit nervous. They've just been beat off Brighton. So they know we're dangerous, but don't go gung-ho early doors. Let's settle into the game. And I think it's a waiting game for us. I think if we settle into the game and we try and compact it, frustrate them a little bit, and maybe catch them on the break, I can see us getting something. But Liverpool always do well against us. You can't deny it. It's just one of them things. They always do well. And like you say, we're in a fortunate position with 7 points clear with a game in hand. a point would be a fantastic result for us. I know the City fans in the comments probably don't want to hear me say that, but I'm just got my City realist head on. I'm thinking, I've walked out of Anfield that many times, disappointed. A point on Sunday, I'll be happy as a pig in shit.
Of course, point on Sunday puts you level with the other lot and a game in hand. And as Seany, you know, we always pick her up for this game, but it's probably the right time for you to come at us. And a draw wouldn't be a bad result. Seany, would you be happy with a draw out of this game from a Liverpool point of view? Or do you think we need to get the points? We need to put a sort of a marker to stop the rot that we're in, as in one game, like, but that we need to get something to pick us up and carry us on. Because the reality is, and I don't think, I don't think Man City can be caught in this league, right?
No, I mean, I don't even think we can. I'd imagine that the team that finishes above Liverpool wins the league this year, because I'd still fancy us to finish second. But I can't see anyone reeling City in like that. We've seen this all too often down the years, Keith, when City get up the head of steam, they just start rolling teams over. It'll get to the stage where it was sort of like us last year. Teams are beaten before they even go out on the pitch. You know what I mean? And look, away games have become easier because there's no fans. And that's a massive factor on Sunday that neither me or Steve. Anfield will be empty on Sunday. And look, if there's ever a chance for City to go there and beat us, it will be this Sunday. But we have to win, Keith. Not in order to stay in the title race. We have to win. Because if you don't win, if you lose 3 home games on the bounce, that would suggest that there's more problems than there actually is. But I don't think there actually is. I just think that with the injuries that we've had, we've fallen short. And when Man City get up to speed, it draws a loss. It's as simple as that. That's the way this league has been for the last couple of years. If you draw, it may as well be a loss, because they're just going to put 2 points or 3 points on you at a time. I can't see us reeling City's in from this. And even I seen Carragher said today that if Liverpool have any ambition to win the league, they need to win on Sunday. Even still, it's a big ask, but we just need it. We need to, not sort of a statement, but we need to just fucking get a result on Sunday. It's as simple as that. We can't afford to get there and get rolled over by City. Not in terms of a title race. It's just for the fact, you're still bleeding champions. You have to have some sort of fucking pride. You know what I mean? You have to go down swinging. Exactly.
And that's the thing, it's all well and good. If we bloody the noses of Man City on Sunday and we can get a win out of that, the reality is, I think City, the lead is too far, but we have to make sure, I said this on a show last night, we have to make sure that we finish the best of the rest, because we are the defending champions. And look, we can use excuses about injured players. I think it's valid in some of the...
absolutely valid. Anyone who says it's just an excuse is a fucking idiot. Like, we're missing 4 or 5 of the starting lineup for 50% of the season. So no team copes with that. We seen what happened, the drop off of City last year, and they lost Laporte, and Steve hit the nail on the head. They had to put fucking Fabinho in there. So not only then are you down your main centre back, you're down a midfield general. So you're plugging out. It's like fucking trying to get water out of a boat with a sieve at the moment. It just keeps on coming at us. Look, and that's football. That's the way it goes. That this season was always going to be a mad one like that. And what we're seeing now, like, everything is coming to fruition that we thought. The team that puts together a run is going to fucking run out clear here. And I can see City doing that now. And look, props to them, because they had a tough start. They had a ropey start. People were writing Pep off. There was fucking emergency talks that they had to get Messi in to try bleeding salvage the season. But no, they've dug in. And a few of the lads there who were under pressure last year, the likes of Stones and Cancelo, they've all pulled their socks up. And look, that's fucking, you can only tip your hat to them. But Sunday's massive. We need something, because if we go out there and get rolled over, you could like a slide is what you definitely don't want.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's going to be an interesting game, but something we've all sort of said, lads, we've all agreed on. You can't afford defeats in this league with these two teams. They've set a bar, they've set a precedent. When Manchester United and Arsenal were going for the leagues, I think the old saying was you could lose 6 games. Those days have gone now. They're back this year just because it's a bit of a weird season. But every game, the fact that every game is nearly like a cup final, it just shows the mental pressure you have to have, the mental strength you have to have for these types of run-ins. And I think these two teams are the two, the managers are the two that instill that, and they're a reflection, the teams are a reflection of their manager. It's going to be an interesting game. Steve, where will City win this game on Sunday? Where can City win this game on Sunday? What do you think are the main things they have to do, and who are the main threats?
I just think we've got that back four and the goalkeeper have got to do what they've been doing all season. They've just got to keep it tight, because you don't know at the minute what front three from Liverpool are turning up, because one game you watch them and they're absolutely outstanding and you think, Jesus Christ, they're murdering people. I mean, that goal from Salah the other night at West Ham, I even stood up on my couch and clapped it, that touch, and put it in. Unbelievable. And then you watch him certain games and they look well off the boil, well off the pace. I think I watched the game, I don't know who you played, but Firmino was missing. His shooting was poor, and so
it could have been any game the last 18 months.
We've got to make sure the back four's on it. You've got to win that midfield battle. You know, you're struggling in there at the minute. We've got to win it. Gundogan's playing well. Rodri's playing well. Bernardo Silva is starting to look like the old Bernardo Silva, so that's decent for us. So we've got to win that battle in there. And a big key for me, I think, is going to be Foden. I mean, I think he'll play Foden for the energy, and I think he does give us that energy. I think when you see him chasing and pressing, him and Jesus and that, I think it just keeps the team up a gear. Sometimes you see our play get a bit flat, and you'll hear Pep barking a few orders out, and then all of a sudden that press comes again, and it keeps us going. And I think that's what's getting us through a lot of games at the minute. I think that the younger players are really pressing and pushing, and I think that's key for us. I think if we sit back and try to nick it, we might, it might backfire. I think we've just got to keep busy, keep the energy up in the midfield, frustrate them, and hopefully break their hearts and snatch it. But looking at us at the minute, we look good. We can't moan. We look good. It's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to the game, because I really look at our record, and I look at the way Liverpool played the last few games, and I'm thinking, yeah, as a neutral, you're thinking City's going to go there. This is ideal chance. Let's kill them. It don't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. I've always said this season that Liverpool and City were the title contenders. I'm not having Man United one bit. I've said it on the Big Six. I ain't wearing it. And I said it at the beginning of the Big Six. There's only two teams capable of going on a run. And I used to say to Turkish and the boys, City's got it in the locker. Liverpool's got the same in the locker. I don't think the title's over. You look at February for us. We've got United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, West Ham. They're all hard games, They're all hard games. We've just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep our nut down, and like you say, I'll be more than happy with a draw.
Charlie Everett's thrown his Man City predicted 11 in there. Do you agree with this, or where do you see any changes? So he's got Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Stones, and Laporte, Rodri, Bernardo, Gundogan, Jesus, Sterling, and Foden or Mahrez. He can't make his mind up. Do you see it being that? And where do you see Foden or Mahrez?
I think he'll play Foden. I think he'll keep Mahrez on the bench. I think Sterling's a bit hit or miss at the minute. He never really turns up against Liverpool anyway. But Mahrez, I think he'll keep him on the bench for the option later on to replace Sterling. But yeah, that's my team. I'd go with that team, to be honest.
Yeah, and there's no chance of Ferran Torres maybe.
No, I think Torres, he's a bit of an impact player at the minute. It's his first season. We're bedding him in. He's had a good season, scored a few. I wouldn't start him at Anfield. But that shape there and the way that's my team. So Charlie, Everett, spot on, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. And Seany, same for you about Liverpool. Where do Liverpool win this, and how can we get the result that we need? What do we need to do? It
comes down to the two lads up top, Mane and Salah. Once Mane is there, they've got to be clinical, because there's been too many games where they haven't been this year. And another one that needs to turn up on Sunday is Bobby Firmino, because he always does in these games. And when Firmino plays well, we play well. That's just a facet of our play. I think we've seen how devastating Salah can be, but we've seen the other side this year as well. So we need the boys up top to show, because this would be the type of game where there probably only might be 1 or 2 chances, and if you don't take them, normally City give up loads of chances, but I can't see that this weekend because of the setup that they have. And I think it'll be one I lost by the managers, Keith. I think it's going to come down to each coach, because the one criticism you could nail Pep with is that sometimes he tries to reinvent the wheel in these games when he doesn't have to. Like you seen away in Europe last year to Lyon, he just went for something completely different and it backfired massively. Now he has that cushion there, so that's what makes me think he won't do that, and he can be a little bit more. Like, he can just do what he has to do here. He doesn't have to try reinvent the wheel, because City have got that point cushion over us. And I'm with Steve. I maybe even Pep is looking at United. I don't think anyone is taking United really serious as title challengers, to be honest, because they know, look, they're fucking managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's just as simple as that. I don't think they have to go for it. But it will depend massively on personnel for us. Obviously, we need Alisson back, and I'd love for them to get Kabak in there with Fabinho at the back, so we can get Hendo back into midfield, because the midfield will be massive. You're seeing they've 2 lads in form, and a midfield of Hendo, Gini, THIAGO are good enough to dominate against any side. It will just come down to who takes their chances, and I think that's where what's slightly going in their favour, because I don't think the likes of Mahrez, Sterling, or the Jesus, they're not as clinical as their 2 lads up top, especially in these big games. So it will come down to that. It's an interesting lineup. Look, it's complete. This is a different City game to anything we've seen in recent years, because City are a well-oiled machine this time around. These are a team who have the Colossus at the back. Like, you know what I mean? They have the Diaz in there. They have Stones playing well. So I don't know. Look, what the game's 4:30 on Sunday, is it?
Yeah.
I'd be far more comfortable giving a prediction at 3:30 on Sunday when I know what sort of team we can put out. Because if I see fucking Origi on a team sheet, I'm gonna watch Last of the Summer Wine or something.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Leo Pill puts in a team of Alisson, Trent, Kabak, Davies, Robbo, Hendo, Fab, Thiago, Mane, Bobby, and Mo. Shawnee, there's no way Davies and Kabak are playing in this game.
Jesus, fucking suicide. No. I'd probably... Kabak seems to be the one out of 2 who I'd fancy just in a bigger game to have sorted, because he's look, what's he, 20? He's played 3 seasons of Bundesliga football, so he'd be more up to scratch, you'd like to think. Davies coming from Preston, it's not the fucking game to put that lad in fairness. Not with the form that we're in. If it was a Carabao Cup game, then you'd probably say, yeah, all right, but not in a league game. Not one that we have to win. And I'd leave Fabinho in there. Just getting Hendo back into midfield will be huge to us, because I don't think opposition fans realise how important he is to our system. He's the one on the right side of that centre mid that allows Trent to do what he does and allows Salah to cheat. So a massive facet of their system is based on Hendo being in there and allowing those boys to do that work. So hopefully we can get him in there. Look, fucking the way your season's going, Keith, the game's on Sunday. If our whole team came down with fucking COVID on Saturday, I just wouldn't be surprised. That's just how this season is panning out for us. If you fell into a barrel of tits, we'd come out sucking our thumbs.
Yeah, 100%. And do you know what? It is a valid point, and it's not, Steve. It's not looking to belittle Liverpool's ability in this. But Shawnee did touch on the fact that until we know the Liverpool lineup, you could be looking at a team with Alisson, with Fabinho, with Henderson, with Mane, or you could be looking at a team with Queeveen Kelleher, who has been excellent when he's been called upon, in fairness. You could be looking at Nat Phillips at the back. You could be looking at James Milner playing the 4th game in 3 days or something. It's a totally and you could be looking at Shaqiri or Origi up front. So we could well be man for man able to matches, or our lineup could be just absolutely decimated. Are you expecting, as an outsider, are you expecting a strong Liverpool to show up on Sunday?
I mean, I just expect he's going to play the strongest team that's available to him. I mean, the only injuries are a nightmare. The kid from Schalke might get a game, like you say. He's been playing in the Bundesliga, so it's not like I don't think, I said it to Grizz on the Big Six, I don't think Liverpool needed to go out and you're not going to get an outstanding centre-half in January. You're just not going to do it. But you didn't need that. You just needed someone with a bit of experience, someone that you could mould, obviously, into a better player. And I think anyone playing with Virgil is going to get better. It's just the way it is. I expect Henderson in midfield because, I mean, we beat United in the Carabao Cup the other week. They had Pogba in there, but Fernandes, Fred, and our boys ran rings around them. So I think Klopp knows that it could be won and lost in there. I think he will know that our strike force, the way we play with Jesus, he's not an overly dangerous number 9. He's not in your face. He's not going to knock you around a bit, but he's just going to pressure. So I think he will prioritise the midfield battle rather than the defence. Whereas you go up against Burnley, you've got them big boys up front, they're pumping them long balls up. You know your defenders have got it all day. We ain't going to do that. We're going to keep possession. We're going to knock it about. And I think if he strengthens the midfield and can maybe snatch that ball in the midfield and get us on the break, I think that's what he's going to do. We're definitely not going to resort to long balls to get it out. You know, we can sometimes overplay it. I think Klopp knows that. And like Sean said before, the big fear with all City fans is Pep Guardiola overthinking it. I mean, that Lyon game was a joke. We go to that Lyon game and play exactly how we've played for the last 3 years. We beat them and we wipe the floor with them. He goes there, starts overthinking it, thinks I don't know what he's done. And anyway, we're out. Simple as that. He's done it at Anfield before. We've gone there, changed the team. I don't know what he's got in his mind. And we've been 3-0 down. I think he's learned his lesson. He has not been as stubborn. And he has been willing to change it. And he's changed it and it's worked. So for me, if Pep goes there, sets up as we've set up this season and just plays our normal game, I think we'll get a result. But there's always that Pep Guardiola. He has a dream the night before about some crazy tactic and then that's us.
Exactly. So Steve, look, give us a prediction. Give us a score prediction.
I'm going to say 1-0 City.
1-0 City. Interesting. And Seany, what about yourself?
2-1 Liverpool. 2-1. I don't see this being the type of Man City Liverpool game where we fucking 2 or 3 up after 20 minutes. This City team, that's not this City team. We're gonna have to fucking work hard and be clinical. 2-1 Liverpool. Hopefully, please God.
Yeah, that's it. Look, it can go either way, and hopefully Liverpool can perform. You know, it's been a tumultuous season. There's a comment in there, Charlie's having a great night, Man City fan. Michael Oliver's in charge on Sunday. Let's hope he's not wearing his Liverpool shirt underneath. Charlie, I don't think you've been watching many Liverpool games, mate, especially not with Michael Oliver. Look, we can all say the standard of refereeing. Michael Oliver is supposedly the best referee in the league, and I think the standard, even him, he's fucking brutal. Like, I think it's a damning indictment that he's the best, but he's certainly no Liverpool fan, Michael Oliver. But look, could come down to something dodgy. We never know. But look, we'll wait and see. It's been it's always, to me, one of the best games of the season, whether it's a tactical game, whether it's a sort of helter-skelter game. It's always a game I look forward to because it's the 2 best managers in world football coming up against each other, 2 of the best teams in world football coming up against each other, 2 teams that respect each other and sort of know that you know, there's no give or take with the opposition, and that's what I like about these games. But look, Steve, I want to thank you for coming on and giving us your thoughts on the game. It's always good to get a voice from an opposition fan coming on. Where can people find you on social media there, Steve?
I'm on Instagram, Big Steve MCFC, and I'm on Twitter, Big Steve MCFC. Good
stuff. I'm sure a few people will like to keep a track on you, Sean. You know you don't do any of that social media nonsense, don't you? Not it's
a lot of bollocks, mate.
I'm new to it. I've been told I had to do it by the boys, so I've done it.
Yeah. Listen, needs must, mate, but fuck me, man. That Twitter is an absolute cesspit. It's a cesspit. It's not for me.
It is, especially when if you are building it around football, it's just an absolute bleeding. You can be the top of the world, and then the next day there's all sorts going on. But look, it is what it is. That's what we love. That's the nature of the beast. Look, it's been a cracking show tonight. The chat has been flying. We've had Man City fans in there, brilliant. We've had one sap in there all night, kept getting banned, thrown in ridiculous shouts. But look, we always get that. That's the way it goes. But for everybody that came in and contributed, we say this every night, our chat, the people that come into the chat, any opposition fans are welcome. Be respectful, you know, and the guys in the chat will give the respect back. It's a great community that we have there, drives these shows on. But, you know, there's some of the lads in there from the City side. Well done. Thanks for coming in and giving us your thoughts. It's good to have a friendly chat, you know, where it doesn't resort to schoolboy sort of, well, not even schoolboy, some of the stuff that was getting pretty much ridiculous.
It's good to see there's content out there that doesn't play in resort to that shite playing.
That's the reason I never did anything, because I don't deal with all that. I'm not going on that. I'm going to say how it is, whether it upsets the people in the comments or not. I go on the Big Six. I'm not fans of these fan channels where they're all sat in the camera screaming, shouting, throwing chairs around and all that's a load of bollocks. You know,
yeah, I agree.
I'll either meet someone at the game, have a beer, and I'm level-headed. If City get turned over, I'll tell you I'll do a shit. If City are outstanding, I'll tell you they're outstanding. If I have to come on with my chest beating, I'll do it. If I have to come on with my tail between my legs, I'll do it. And like you say, I think a lot of the City fans now that are following me onto these chats, fair play to them, they like it because I say how it is, you know what I mean? And I back the corners. A lot of City fans out there get shouted down, empty seats, all that bullshit. I'm not going to do that. I've come on here tonight. It's been a great show. I've spoke openly about the game. It's a pleasure when everyone's not shouting over each other and that, you know what I mean? We can talk about different opinions. We've all got different opinions. We all love our team. And we're looking forward to a great game of football. That's what it's about, isn't it? It's not about name calling and load of rubbish and all that nonsense. Can't be doing with it myself.
Yeah, no, that's it. You've hit the nail on the head. You've hit the nail on. That's one thing that we sort of aim at as well here is you want to have chats, you know what I mean? We don't want to be shouty and, you know, we don't want to be nearly trending for all the wrong reasons. But look, it is what it is. Steve, thanks very much again for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure having you.
No problem at all. Anytime. Enjoy your Sunday, boys. Up the Blues.
We will indeed. And Seany, as always, pal, a pleasure to get you on these shows.
Cheers, Keith, absolute pleasure. Like you said, it's good to come on and have level-headed football chat, not fucking shouty bollocks over each other for an hour and a half. So we picked that 10 points out of 10.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Listen, this has been the build-up show. We've been the LFC Daytrippers, and we'll see us all again soon.